In this video, you're going to learn how to make this simple but awesome bookkeeping template in Google Sheets. With this template, you can create categories for both your income and expenses, track all of your income and expense transactions in one place, and view a summary of everything on this amazing dynamic dashboard where you can select the year and month to update the information automatically. As always, you will find a link to the template in the description if you would rather buy it instead of build it. And other than that, let's get started. Beginning with a blank Google Sheets spreadsheet, we will start with the worksheet structure. So select columns I through Z, right-click on the column headers, and delete. Next, click here in this box, which is called the name box. Type in 2:1000 and press enter. This action selects all of those rows. And now right-click on the row headers, resize rows, set the size to 30, and click OK. Select row 1 next, right-click, resize row, set the size to 40, and click OK. Now with row 1 still selected, increase the font size to 14, bold the font, change the font color to white, click the Fill Color button, and click the plus to create a custom color. Under Hex, enter 435361 and click OK. This creates a nice dark gray blue color that I like to work with. Now from here, select column A, right-click, resize column, set the size to 50, and click OK. Finally, click here to select all cells, then change the horizontal alignment to left, and change the vertical alignment to middle. Then go to View, Show, and uncheck grid lines. The general worksheet structure is now complete. So the next step is to create 2 copies of this worksheet. Just right-click on the Worksheet tab and select Duplicate. Then just repeat this process one more time. Once you have all 3 worksheets, change the names to Categories, Income, and Dashboard. We will add the Expenses worksheet in later. For now, on the Dashboard worksheet, select columns A through H, right-click, and insert 8 columns to the right because we will need these columns later on. For now, go ahead and move back to the Categories worksheet. On this worksheet, click in the name box, type in 16:1000 and press enter. Then right-click and delete. Now select column B, hold the Control key, and also select column E. Then right-click, resize columns, set the size to 175, and click OK. Select column D, right-click, resize column, set the size to 50, and click OK. Next, select the range B3 through C13. Hold Control, and also select E3 through F13. Then, click on the Borders button, change the color to gray, and click this button to apply all borders. Select B3 through C3, hold Control, select E3 through F3, then bold the font and add a light gray fill color. Now select C4 through C13, hold Control, also select F4 through F14, change the font color to blue, and add a light gray fill color. Now, these two tables give you enough space for up to 10 income and expense categories. If you want to add more than 10 categories, then you can add more space by selecting rows in the middle of the table like so. Right-click and insert. And you can repeat this process as many times as you need. But for this video, I will be sticking with the space for up to 10 categories like so. That being said, your next step is to select B3 through C3, click the Borders button, and for the color, click the plus to create a custom color. Under Hex, enter 01B 8AA and click OK. Then increase the border thickness by 1 and apply a bottom border. Now select E3 through F3, click the Borders button, and for the color, click the plus, and under Hex, enter FD625E and click OK. Then apply a bottom border. Awesome, looking good. Now just select cell B1 and type in categories. Then in B3, type in income category, then total, and in E3, type in expense category, and then total. Now select column C, hold Control, and select column F, then change the horizontal alignment to center. Finally, enter a few sample categories like so, because this will help us validate our formulas later on. And once you've done that, select the full range of possible income categories like so, then click in the name box. Type in income list with no spaces and press enter. This creates a range name that we can use elsewhere to easily refer back to our income categories. And now for the expense categories. Select the expense range, click in the name box, enter expense list, and press enter. Awesome. That does it for the categories worksheet for now. So on to the income worksheet next. Start by selecting cell B1 and type in income. Then select B3 through G8, click the Borders button, change the color to gray, change the border thickness back to the top option, and apply all borders. Then select the range B3 through G3, bold the font, add a light gray fill color, click the Borders button, change the color to the custom green color, change the thickness back to the second option, and apply the bottom border. Then select F4 through G8, change the font color to blue, and add a light gray fill color. Then select B3 and enter date, then category, description, amount, year, and month. Select columns E through G, change the horizontal alignment to center, select columns C and D, right-click, resize columns, change the size to 175, click OK. Select column B, right-click, resize column, change the size to 125, and click OK. Now, let's create a drop-down menu for the category column to make it easy to select a specific income category. So select C4 through C8 and go to Data, Data Validation. Click on Add Rule, and under Criteria, select drop-down from a range. Then in the box below, type in equals income list, which is the range name that we created earlier, and press enter. You should then see your sample income categories appear here. Now, under Advanced Options, you can leave the display style set to chip if you want to. Personally, I like the arrow style, so that is what I will select. Either way, you can now click Done, close the panel on the right, and easily assign categories. While you're at it, go ahead and type in some other sample data like so. And after you've done that, select column E, click on the More Formats button here, and select Number. This will add 2 decimal places for your numbers. And now let's update the format of the dates. So select column B, click on the More Formats button, and select Custom Date and Time. You can scroll to find a date format that works for you, or you can build your own. And to do that, start by deleting everything in this box at the top, and then you can use the down arrow to select the different components and build the date format however you want it. For me, I like to have the month abbreviation, a space, the day number, a comma, then a space, and the full year. And once you have the date format the way you want it, you can click on Done. Awesome. Next, select cell F4 and enter the following formula. Equals, if function, is blank function, B4, close parentheses, next argument, quote, dash, quote, next argument, year function, B4, close parentheses, and enter. This formula checks to see if the date cell is blank, and if not, it returns the year of that date. Now in cell G4, enter this formula. Equals, if function, is blank function, B4, close parentheses, next argument, quote, dash, quote, next argument, text function, B4, next argument, quote, quote, close parentheses, and press enter. This formula also checks to see if the date cell is blank, and if not, it returns the abbreviated month of that date. And with the 2 formulas done, select F4 and G4, and copy the formulas down to row 8 using the fill handle. Fantastic. To complete the worksheet, select B8 through G8 and press Ctrl-Shift-Down. Then press Ctrl-D. This copies all of the formatting, data validation, and formulas down to the end of the worksheet. And that does it for the income worksheet. Now, to save some time moving forward, right-click on the Worksheet tab and select Duplicate. Then, rename the copy to Expenses. And from here, we just have to make a few changes instead of building the Expenses worksheet all the way from scratch. So, the first thing we want to do is select cell B1 and change Income to Expenses. Then change the amounts to something different like so. And after that, go to Data, Data Validation. In the panel on the right, click on the data validation rule that you see there and change Income List to Expense List, and then press Enter. You should now see the expense categories instead, and you can click on Done. Close the panel on the right, and then change the categories of your sample data like so. Now for the final touch, select B3 through G3, click the Borders button, change the color to the custom red color, and apply the bottom border. Awesome, you are now done with the Expenses worksheet 2. On to the Dashboard worksheet. Start by selecting cell B1 and type in Dashboard. Then select column B, hold Control, and select column G. Then right-click, Resize Columns, set the size to 175, and click OK. Select column E, hold Control, and select column J. Then right-click, Resize Columns, set the size to 25, and click OK. Select column F, hold Control, also select columns K and P, then right-click, Resize Columns, set the size to 50, and click OK. Now select B3 through B4, bold the font, change the font color to white, and add the gray-blue custom fill color. Then select C3 through C4, bold the font, add a light gray fill color, and change the horizontal alignment to center. Select G3 through J4, bold the font, add a light gray fill color, then click the Borders button, change the color to white, and change the thickness to the top option, and apply all borders. Then change the horizontal alignment to center. Now select B6 through E6, bold the font, add a light gray fill color, click the Borders button, change the color to the custom green, and apply the bottom border. Then select G6 through J6, bold the font, add a light gray fill color, click the Borders button, change the color to the custom red, and apply the bottom border. Select B7 through E16, hold Control, select G7 through J16, and apply a light gray fill color. Now, this is enough space to display the data for 10 categories. If you added space for more categories at the beginning, then you need to expand the gray ranges here to accommodate for those extra categories, and now is the best time to do that. And once you've done so, select cell B3 and type in select the year, and then select the month. Then in G3, type in profit, income, and expenses. While you're at it, select I3 and J3, then click this button to merge the cells into one. Then select I4 through J4 and merge these cells also. Now select B6 and type in income, then total, and then chart. And in G6, type in expenses, total, and chart. Nice. For your next step, select cells L3 through O3, bold the font, and add a light gray fill color. Then in L3, enter month, then income, expenses, and profit. And in L4, enter JAN. Then use the fill handle to complete the list of months. Now for the selections in C3 and C4. In cell C3, the user can simply type in a year value like so. But for the month, we want to create a drop-down menu. So with C4 selected, go to Data, Data Validation. Click on Add Rule, and under Criteria, choose Drop-down from a range. Click the Select Data Range button, select L4 through L15, and click OK. Then under Advanced Options, select Plain Text, click Done, and close the panel on the right. You can then start typing in cell C4, and the drop-down list makes it very easy to pick a month. To complete the formatting on this page, select cell G4 and change the font color to blue, Then select H4 and change the font color to the custom green. Then select I4 and change the font color to the custom red. Then select M4 through O15 and change the font color to blue. Awesome. We are now ready to focus on the formulas that power the dashboard. In fact, the first thing that we want to do is create 2 more range names that are going to help us write these formulas. To do so, select cell C3, click in the name box, and type in -year and press enter. Then select C4, click in the name box, type in -month, and press enter. Once you've done that, select cell M4 and enter the following formula. Equals SUMIFS function, click on the income worksheet, select E4, then add a colon and E. Then add $signs to make this an absolute reference. Move to the next argument, select cell F4, add a colon and then F, and then add $signs to make this an absolute reference. Next argument, -year. Next argument, select cell G4, colon G, and add $signs to make this an absolute reference. Next argument, $L4, then close parentheses and press enter. This formula uses the SUMIFS function to add up all of the income transactions from January of the selected year. Now, for your next formula, select cell N4 and enter the following. Equals SUMIFS function, click on the Expenses tab, select cell E4, colon E, make this an absolute reference. Next argument, F4, colon F, make this an absolute reference. Next argument, -year. Next argument, G4, colon G, make this an absolute reference. Next argument, $L4, close parentheses and enter. This formula uses the SUMIFS function to add up all of the expense transactions from January of the selected year. Next, select cell O4 and enter the formula. Equals M4 minus N4. And once you have all 3 formulas, go ahead and select them, then use the fill handle to copy them down to row 15. Awesome. Next, select cell G4 and enter the following formula. Equals H4 minus I4. Then select H4 and enter the formula. Equals if function is blank function -month, next argument, sum function M4 through M15, close parentheses, next argument, X lookup function, C4, next argument, L4 through L15, next argument, M4 through M15, close parentheses, and enter. This formula sums the income numbers if no month is selected. Otherwise, it returns the income of the selected month. Now for the next formula. Select cell I4 and enter the following. Equals if function is blank function -month, close parentheses, next argument, sum function N4 through N15, close parentheses, next argument, X lookup function, C4, next argument, L4 through L15, next argument, N4 through N15, close parentheses, and press enter. This formula sums the expense numbers if no month is selected. Otherwise, it just returns the expense of the selected month. Okay, at this point, we need to move back to the categories worksheet to add some formulas there. And once you're there, select cell C4 and enter the following formula. Equals if function is blank function dash month, close parentheses, next argument, sum ifs function, income, exclamation point, $E, $4, colon, $E, next argument, income, exclamation point, $F, $4, colon, $F, next argument, dash year, next argument, income, exclamation point, $C, $4, colon, $C, next argument, B4, close parentheses, next argument, sum ifs function, income, exclamation point, $E, $4, colon, $E, next argument, income, exclamation point, $F, $4, colon, $F, next argument, dash year, next argument, income, exclamation point, $G, $4, colon, $G, next argument, dash month, next argument, income, exclamation point, $C, $4, colon, $C, next argument, B4, close parentheses, and press enter. This formula checks to see if a month has been selected on the dashboard. If not, it calculates the total income for category 1 in the selected year. Otherwise, it calculates the total income for category 1 in both the selected year and month. And once you finish the formula, use the fill handle to copy it down for all of the categories. And after that, select cell F4 and enter the following formula. Equals if function is blank function dash month, close parentheses, next argument, sum ifs function, expenses, exclamation point, $E, $4, colon, $E, next argument, expenses, exclamation point, $F, $4, colon, $F, next argument, dash year, next argument, expenses, exclamation point, $C, $4, colon, $C, next argument, E4, close parentheses, next argument, sum ifs function, expenses, exclamation point, $E, $4, colon, $E, next argument, expenses, exclamation point, $F, $4, colon, $F, next argument, dash year, next argument, expenses, exclamation point, $G, $4, colon, $G, next argument, dash month, next argument, expenses, exclamation point, $C, $4, $C, next argument, E4, close parentheses, and press enter. This formula checks to see if a month has been selected on the dashboard. If not, it calculates the total expenses for category A in the selected year. Otherwise, it calculates the total expenses for category A in both the selected year and month. And of course, use the fill handle to copy the formula down for all of the categories. Awesome. Now move back to the dashboard worksheet. Select cell B7 and enter the following formula. Equals, sort function, then click on the Categories tab. Select all of the income categories and totals. Next argument, 2. Next argument, false. Close parentheses and press enter. This formula sorts the income category data in descending order by the total amounts and places that information here on the dashboard. Next, select cell G7 and enter the following formula. Equals, sort function, click on the Categories tab, select all of the expense categories and totals. Next argument, 2. Next argument, false. Close parentheses and press enter. This formula sorts the expense category data in descending order by the total amounts and places that information here on the dashboard. Now for the data bars, select cell D7 and enter the following formula. Equals, if function is blank function dash year, close parentheses, next argument, quote, next argument, sparkline function, C7, next argument, open bracket, quote, chart type, quote, comma, quote, bar, quote, semicolon, quote, max, quote, comma, max function, C7 through C16, and add $signs to make this an absolute reference, then close parentheses, semicolon, quote, color 1, quote, comma, quote, 01B 8AA, quote, close bracket, close parentheses, and press enter. Now, if you live in a country where the argument separator is a semicolon rather than a comma, and you would have noticed by now to get the other formulas to work, then the syntax for this formula in particular is going to be quite different. For you, it's going to look like this instead. So this might help if you're struggling to get it to work. That being said, once you've written the formula, go ahead and use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell D16. And after that, select cell I7 and enter the following formula. Equals, if function is blank function dash year, close parentheses, next argument, quote, next argument, sparkline function, H7, next argument, open bracket, quote, chart type, quote, comma, quote, bar, quote, semicolon, quote, max, quote, comma, max function, H7 through H16, and make this an absolute reference, close parentheses, semicolon, quote, color 1, quote, comma, quote, FD6 to 5E, quote, close bracket, close parentheses, and press Enter. And once again, if you use semicolons instead of commas for the argument separator, then your formula is going to look like this instead. Once you have it down, go ahead and use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell I-16. Awesome. Now select the range C7 through C16. Hold Control and also select H7 through H16 and G4 through J4. Click the More Formats button here and select Number. The dashboard is almost complete. All that remains now is the chart on the bottom. So start by selecting the range L3 through O15. Then go to Insert, Chart. In the panel on the right, under Setup, change the chart type to Combo. Then click on Customize. And under Chart Style, change the background color to light gray and set the chart border color to None. Under Chart and Axis Titles, remove the chart title. Under Series, select Income, set the type to Columns, change the fill color to the custom green, select Expenses, change the type to Columns, change the fill color to the custom red, then select Profit, set the type to Line, change the line color to the custom dark blue-gray, change the line thickness to 4 pixels, and set the point size to 10 pixels. Under Legend, change the font size to 16 pixels, bold the font. Under Horizontal Axis, change the font size to 14 pixels. Under Grid Lines and Ticks, select Vertical Axis and uncheck Major Grid Lines. And then you can close the panel on the right and resize the chart to fill the space below the income and expense categories. After that, select columns L through O, right-click, and hide. Google Sheets will then ask you if you want to include the hidden data, and you should click Include Data. And just like that, you are done with your simple bookkeeping template in Google Sheets. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and like this video if you learned something new. And as always, until next time, I will see you again in the next Spreadsheet Life video.